One. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Antonio T. Smith Jr., and this is Let's Talk Tuesday. And of course, yes, you can clap. That's right. That's right. Yep, that's it. That's it. And of course, according to my custom, I give the shortest introductions possible on Let's Talk Tuesday. We have a powerhouse. She makes Les Brown, Ona Brown, Serena Brown cry every single time she talks. She is an international keynote speaker. She is on staff at the Les Brown Institute, and she is a speaker, trainer, and coach, and a hell of a woman. I present to you Tempestt S. Smith.
So for someone who does short introductions, that was the longest introduction. So I thank you for it because I needed all of those seconds. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Tuesdays live, or if you're listening over the podcast, thank you for choosing this podcast to tune into each week. Today's topic is I decided to be comfortable being me. And I struggled with this topic not because I'm not comfortable. I struggled just accepting that I am qualified to speak on the topic, but we'll get to that shortly. In 1994, my favorite movie of all time premiered. The Lion King is my number one, without a doubt, favorite movie. And if you haven't seen The Lion King, shame on you, but I'll give you a quick 30-second plot summary because part of it ties into what I want to talk about. So the movie starts with this beautiful song called The Circle of Life, and we meet Simba. He's a young cub, and his dad, Mufasa, is the king of the jungle. And Simba is next in line to reign over Pride Rock, which is the location that the movie takes place in. And long story short, Mufasa dies. I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but he dies. And Simba's uncle manipulates Simba's mind and tells him he's the reason why Mufasa died. And he tells him to run far away and never return. And Simba stays away for a while. He grows up. He comes back and he takes over his kingdom, rightfully so. And I said his uncle manipulated him and he ran away. But I really think that underneath the manipulation, Simba ran away because he was scared of who he was. He wasn't comfortable being king of the jungle or the son of the king of the jungle. And he ran away. And I'm wondering, including myself, how many of us run away or are currently running away or have ran away because there is something in us and we know it, but it's easier to run. Or how many of us know that there's a supreme destiny, as Oprah calls it, on our lives, but because we don't know who we are, or we haven't given ourselves permission to be who we are, or we haven't given ourselves permission to be comfortable with who we are, we choose to run because running seems like the easiest thing to do. It does seem easy, but it's not. From personal experience, I ran from Texas all the way to California because I was scared of who I was supposed to be in Texas. So I went and hid in California. And those were the worst years of my life. And maybe you didn't run to a different state. Maybe you're just running away from your calling or your purpose, or running away from discovering your purpose. And I'm here to tell you that's not the life that you want to live. So how did I decide to be comfortable with me? I paused and got to know who Tempestt is. And maybe some of us are running because we don't really know who we are. If you ask us, we'll tell you our accomplishments, we'll tell you our titles, but who are you underneath the degrees? Who are you underneath mom or dad or husband or wife or CEO or whatever? Like, who are you? And how many times have you been in a relationship or have heard friends who are or were in relationships or friendships say that that partnership ended because the other person didn't know who they were? I ask, do you know who you are? And do you know what it feels like to be on the other side of the real you? In one of his best-selling books, Dr. Henry Cloud writes in a book, Integrity, that I love to hate. He says that, or he compares the wake of people to the wake of a boat. And if you're unfamiliar like me, the wake of the boat, if you're on a boat and you stand at the back of the boat and you watch the ripples in the water, that's the wake of the boat. And the ripples tells you how fast, how slow, or how smooth or how rough the boat ride is. So I asked, what kind of wake are you leaving behind? Because in order to get to know the real you, you have to know how you make people feel once you leave the room. And I know social media loves to glamorize hashtag I know me, I value me, getting to know me. And that's cool and all. But since this is Let's Talk Tuesday, let's get real for a second. None of us live a glamorous life. Getting to know the real us is not always a good thing because we pretend for so long or we zip up for so long. We don't know who we are underneath the fakeness. And if you don't know who you are, how do you expect other people to get to know you? Or how do you expect to walk into, excuse me, a relationship and be treated fairly if you won't give that person who you really are? So back to this social media thing. While you can edit a social media post to make it look good, to make the grammar perfect, or to make it look like you have it all together, and while you can apply filters on pictures and blot out your blemishes, real life doesn't come with an edit button. And real life doesn't come with a filter that makes you look better than what you really are. This is real life. And a filter can't smooth out a bad attitude, can't smooth out a violent wake, can't smooth out I'm leaving him because he don't know me, but you never afforded him the opportunity to know who you really are. So get to know you. I had to pause and get to know me. I had to recognize that I had a lot of anger issues. I wasn't the innocent person that everybody thought I was. I come with my share of baggage. I have my skeletons in the closet, but if I never show the people I want to be close to my skeletons, do they really know me? And am I really being a true friend to them? If I pretend I have it all together, how effective am I as a coach, as a speaker, as a trainer, as a friend, as or whatever? I'm faking it, telling you to get it together, but I don't have it together. And I encourage you to beware of those motivational speakers or those life coaches or those pastors or those counselors or those whatever that has it all together and never shows you their wounds. Antonio does a devotional every morning, and a couple mornings he sent one and he said, we're ineffective because we won't show people our wounds, we just show them our egos. And your ego is not getting to know you, and it's not allowing other people to get to know you. So getting to know you, getting to know the real you, getting to know the person that lives in a heavily populated city such as Houston, where there's 6.5 million people in the metropolitan area, knowing that no matter what time of day, what time of night, there's traffic, but make no preparations to leave 10 to 15 minutes earlier, and then sits in traffic going off on other drivers, but you don't address the real issue that you lack time management skills. Get to know that person so you can address what's wrong with you. Get to know the person that needs quiet time, that needs to charge, that can't be around people all day, every day, instead of getting angry and annoyed by them. Recognize that you are an introvert and you need time to be you. Get to know what makes you happy. So when you feel anger rising in you, you know what to do to make you happy instead of depending on someone else to figure out what the problem is with you. So back to those relationships, back to those friendships, back to those partnerships. How can you be mad at someone for not knowing the real you if you don't know who you are, or if the real you never shows up in the relationship? You can't, someone has their mic unmuted. If you can mute yourself, that would be great. If you can't find peace you can't find peace in a fake persona, but if you constantly introduce your fake persona, that is the person that people fall in love with. So you're walking into relationships with a fake person, being a fake person, mad because the other person can't love you properly. But maybe they're loving the person that you revealed yourself as properly. How can you be mad if you never give us a genuine opportunity to know who you are? I remember being so zipped up and so having it together. I didn't let my best friend know I was in pain. And instead of addressing it, instead of bringing it to him, I sat in pain, hoping, wondering, feeling obligated, feeling like he was responsible for figuring me out. But how could he figure me out if I never figured me out? So get to know you. And while you're getting to know you, embrace the things that you bring to the table, including your flaws. If you have gifts, and you do, if you have strengths, and you do, if you have a voice, and you do, if you have a message to share with the world, and you do, embrace that. Don't be like me and Simba and running off into the wilderness because it's easier to hide. I was killing people by not sharing who I was. I was killing people by not embracing who I was, because once I started to embrace myself, people would come up to me and say, "Hey, thank you for hugging me. No one hugs me the way you hug me, and you make me feel like I can go on." Or "Thank you for smiling in my direction, because no one has smiled at me all day and I've had a rough day." Or "Thank you for saying whatever words you just said, because I didn't know, but I needed it. But I never would have known that I was helping people with my smile, with my hugs, with my voice, if I didn't embrace that I had a voice, or I didn't embrace that my hugs had healing power," if you believe in that. So embrace yourself. And I said embrace your flaws too, because your flaws make you who you are. And if just because you feel it's a flaw, other people may not see it. Your flaw could be someone's saving grace. Your flaw could stop someone from committing suicide. So don't hide your flaws. Don't filter them out. Embrace them and let the world see. Like I said earlier, no one wants a perfect person. We think we do, and we think that's admirable. But people need to see your scars. People need to see you cry. people need to know that I've been crying all day long for no reason at all, but sometimes I just felt like I needed to share some tears. And maybe that's you. Or maybe someone needs to know that you have empathy and you feel all the feelings. I ran from that because people told me that that made me weak or that made me whatever. But when I ran from it, I felt pain when I didn't use my empathy the way I was supposed to use it. So now that I embraced it, I can help people. I can see someone hurting because of a situation. I can go to them in private and say, you know what, whatever it is, it's going to be okay. Let's talk about it. And maybe that makes them feel better. But maybe you don't have empathy. Maybe you can relate to people like no one else. Use your gifts. Maybe you have input is a strength and you think that that's a flaw of yours, but actually it's a strength for a reason. Use that to go help the world. Stop hiding behind who you are because it's not what you thought you should be, or someone made fun of you because of it, or people don't understand. But if they were supposed to understand, the gift would have been given to them. So I'm closing by saying, get to know you. I decided to be comfortable with me because I didn't want to be fake anymore. And maybe that's where you are. Maybe that's what attracted you to this call. Stop being fake. And we say that in a negative way, but stop being fake. Stop putting on makeup thinking you have to have it all together, because people need to see your scars. People need to know that you were in bad relationships before you got to that good relationships. People need to see that your business failed because they're about to start a business and they think if I don't succeed day one, I'm already a failure. People need to know that you've been divorced or been divorced again, because there are people out here in marriages that they're not supposed to be in. But because you have it all together, quote unquote, they are staying in marriages that are killing them. Show your scars, and it's okay, but show them to yourself first. Get to know you, get to love you. When you love you, you treat yourself better. Someone asked me yesterday, how do I know when I've embraced myself, or how do I know when I've loved myself? You know that you have embraced yourself or you're loving yourself when you start treating yourself better. Some things you just don't allow anymore. You don't allow negative energy to be around you all the time. That's how you know you're embracing yourself and you're loving yourself. You start working out and you never really did that before. That's how you know you are embracing yourself and you're loving yourself. You stop accepting whatever people throw at you. That's how you know. I told someone the other day I stopped being in agreement with all prayers because I realized everyone wasn't praying for me or wasn't praying for the things that I wanted. So because I know who I am, I know what I want, and I've embraced myself and I love myself, I know what I want to accept and what I don't want to accept. And I'm okay with rejecting a prayer because I know the prayer for myself. You know what I mean? So closing by, get to know you, because I got to know Tempestt and it wasn't always pretty. It was ugly. It was rough. And sometimes I looked in the mirror and I cried because I couldn't believe that I had turned into what I felt like was a monster. But had I not conquered my monster, or don't constantly conquer that, I'll never change it. I'll always be the monster having it all together. So I encourage you to just get to know you, fall in love with you, and then decide to be comfortable with who you are, no matter what it may look like. Thanks for listening.
All right. Woo! All right. We're gonna open it up for Q&A, but allow me to set the tone first. I am believe now. No, I know for sure that we're gonna have a breakthrough Q&A session. Okay, breakthrough Q&A session. So let's see if we can move forward with that. Who among you has something you would like to add or say? You can raise your hand with the little app thingy, or you can unmute yourself, however that works. But I am waiting. Okay, got Grace in front of me right
Hey,
now,
Tempest.
and we'll get Rashid. Okay, so
Hi,
we got
Michelle.
we got Michelle first, Grace second, Rashida third. Go ahead.
Okay. Hope you remember that.
Mhm.
Hey, Tempest.
Hi,
First of
Michelle.
all, I want to say that you you give the best hugs ever,
Oh, thank you.
ever, ever, ever. You have given me freedom in this call because I am in the process of learning who I am. And for years, I'm talking years, I always assumed other people, scared people weren't going to like me. I'm in the
Mm.
process of finding out who I am, what I'm doing, what my purpose is, and I'm learning to embrace it. And you just gave me confirmation that I am along the right path. I am taking the right journey. So I want to say thank you for the confirmation and just thank you. I'm in the middle of my pause hard because I'm learning things about self-aware of it, and so I can work on that. So I just want to say thank you for getting confirmation, and you did amazing, awesome, and I love you.
Thank you so much. I love you too. Thank
Yes,
you.
awesome. Michelle, you broke up a little bit at the very end. So tell her one more time why you really want to thank her, because I want the universe to push that energy on her.
Because your transparency
Mm.
helped me be able to be comfortable with my journey, knowing that I'm not alone, that I'm not the only one out here who has struggled with finding out who they are. Um,
Mm.
just because I don't know, like I said, I assumed identities of the people around me. I took over their beliefs because I was too scared to be who I was. So
Mm.
I
My goodness. Mm,
Wow.
mm.
thank you.
No, thank you. Sheesh.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
Tempest.
go ahead and mute.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself.
she,
Wow.
Review so she can wipe them tears of that revelation she just had. Tempest, please respond back to that in your own manner. Then we'll have Grace. Then we'll have Rashida, and we'll continue the order.
So transparency is something that I hate. I hate being transparent because, like I said, I want to feel like I got it together. I don't want people. That's not the real reason. The real reason is I just don't really want people to know that part of me. I don't want to be vulnerable and put my information out there for other people to, manipulate or do whatever with. But I am working on that. So you kind of gave me confirmation as far as transparency goes. As far as taking on other people's identity, oh my God. A couple of years ago, that was me. I was taking on identity of others. And it was the most miserable time of my life because I wasn't me. I had to go around them and pretend that everything was good, and I enjoyed being in their chaos, but that caused chaos in my own life. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and I get it. I get what you're coming from, and I hope that you can overcome that, but it sounds like you already have. So thank you for sharing that, and if you need help with that, I'm definitely open to helping you with that.
My goodness. Okay, Grace. Somehow, yes, you have the floor.
Okay. Well,
Hi, Grace.
hey, Tempe. Awesome job as always.
Thank you.
Every point you made was very good. What stuck out to me was you can't find peace in a fake persona. Okay, I got you.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
but
Help me,
yeah,
Jesus.
the things that you struggle with, I struggle with too. They- just yeah, the whole people didn't see me. People saw Grace as representative. You know,
Okay.
it's just I'm not trying to let you see who I really am.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna get this angry person. That's what you're gonna
Okay.
get.
So you can move around. I get that
Please.
too. Get this
That's
angry
it.
person
Okay.
so you can get out of my face. How the fastest
That
way
way
to
you will
get
leave.
away
That
from
way
me.
you will leave me alone
That's
because you
it.
know she gets angry.
Yes.
That's okay.
Oh my God. Yes. I'm clapping
But
because that was so me. Oh my God. I was so okay. Let me not cut you off. Go ahead.
no problem. No problem.
Hold on. Mute real quick. And I'm gonna let you. Tempest, what number do we have that ends with O2? I need you to check that real quick and give me that verification number. We got a number ending in O2 somewhere. I have no idea. Okay, she'll figure that out. Sorry, we've got some tech guys trying to make us millions of dollars right now, and they just try to get access to something and set the verification number. Anywho, that's it. You figured out. We'll figure it out. Okay, you keep going now.
Oh,
Unless y'all want to lose millions of dollars, I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
no.
Okay. But even through the anger, when I started hanging out with certain folks,
Oh Lord.
they kind of figured. I know they kind of figured out who I really was
Lord.
behind the anger, and
Mm.
helped me to discover grace and to figure out who I really am. And so I am on my journey, and I do thank you for my question being answered
You're welcome.
that I asked you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
But great job as always, and I have learned much from this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Debbie.
So Grace was definitely the person who came to me at like 11 o'clock last night and was like, so how do I know when I've embraced myself? And I was like, don't ask this question because this is the topic that I do not want to talk about tomorrow. But embracing yourself kept popping up over and over and over and over again. So yeah. So thank you, Grace, thanks for asking that question and pushing me pushing me over to go ahead and be open and do this call. So thank you, Grace.
Good. Definitely. Okay, so if you just joined in, Tempest just absolutely bodied the phone call with us being transparent, and just it's too incredible. We will make this audio available. Rashida, you are up next for your question, comment, or just flat out help that we all may need.
Hi, Rashida.
Hi, Tempest. I just want to say again, like I always say, great job.
Thank you.
But I'm glad that I tuned in. I was a couple of minutes late, but I'm truly glad that I did tune in, and I say that because I needed this. Um, I always try to be transparent, but you said something that hit home with me, and a lot of people don't know that I have struggled, and I had a time in my life when um, I thought that my beauty was a curse. And I'm going to go somewhere with that real quick. Because all my life, you wake up every day and you ask God, well, what am I here for? What is my purpose? And when you're doing so much, like you you have like an identity crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those identity comes from you see so many people doing so many things, so you're like saying, well, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, and you never really find out who you are. So I say that I used to wake up and ask God, like for 2 years I struggled with, what is my purpose? Why do you wake me up with this beauty? I have no purpose here.
Mm.
And a lot of people would say or think that because you're beautiful, and I'm nowhere tooting my own horn. They think that because you're beautiful, you have it all together.
Mm.
But your beauty doesn't get you anywhere. It's who
Mm.
you really are. And so I too had to start learning to embrace who I was. So it was like standing in the mirror with no face. And I struggled with that for 2 years of my life. And from that point on, I had a reserved area in my life to where, because people thought I had it all together, I put a reserved area in my life that made me feel like I had it together
Mm.
because I was struggling with who I was and I didn't know who I was. Because again, when you wake up every day, so many people have expectations of you and they don't get to see the real you. And you start learning to not to be you because you
Mm.
wake up every day and you're just trying to be who they want you to be instead of being who you are.
Mm.
Mm.
And so with listening to you openly and freely, um, I remember when we did leadership, and I remember Antonio saying, the only way you're going to be in leadership, or the only way you're going to be able to take what's happening in leadership, is by being transparent.
Mm.
And so I've taken that and I use that to the best of my ability that I could. And I try to get rid of the reserved areas of what people think you are and being who you need to be. And I remember when we took those strength tests, and I'm going to tell you something. I was very disappointed. And I never said this, and I've never shared this with anybody, so this is going to blow y'all's mind. I really was disappointed because I thought all my life I was introvert. Just as much as I may do so many, I may get on the camera, I might do this, I might do that. I'm so reserved in a lot of areas that it bothers me whenever I'm in a room full of people sometimes.
Mm.
I mean, it's like being in a room and you're the only one there. And so you're still trying to figure out who you are. And you're doing something, but it's just like I'm sitting in a room with a bag over my head. So when you say that Grace asked you, how do you know, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you really know? And I get you're saying, stop being fake, and not to say that in a mean way. And I didn't take that in a mean way. I took that just as you said it. Stop being fake. Take the bag off of your head. Be who you need to be. And sometimes things hurt when you're being fake. So those are those moments where you say you should have those affirmations to yourself, and you should just kind of deal with how you're feeling right then and there, and don't put it as a reserved area. So saying all of that to say this, to ask you a question, because I know, well, I have a little experience, with working with you and seeing you grow, and you brought me to tears today. So great job.
Thank you.
Because at times I feel like I'm a hard rock. Nobody can get through to me. It's like I'm so strong. I don't show those gray areas. I really have learned to have a gray area instead of being black and white.
Mm.
Um, but my question to you is ultimately, when you discovered, okay, I'm not going to be fake anymore. I'm going to be Tempestt. I need to be who I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Was it more painful because of who you were? Or was it more painful because now you got to go through that change and you embrace that change? Because you have a good pain and you have a bad pain.
Mhm. So I would say, oh, I would say I had both good and bad. The bad pain was me realizing that I was hiding from a great person. I was pretending to be something that I wasn't, but who I was just fine. And it hurt me that I was so insecure and so low in my self-esteem that I didn't see what other people saw in me. I didn't see it. And instead of just being who I was all that time, I ran from it, or I tried to be something that I wasn't. And then being the something that I wasn't was painful. It was causing me
Right.
stress. It would literally hurt my heart to be who I wasn't, but I was
Right.
too afraid of who I was to release that pain.
Right.
So I fed on it. So I would say I had good pain because I knew who I was. I knew I had, whatever, but I put myself through a lot of bad pain, as you say, because it was painful to see I was running from something I had no business running from.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Because there's days that I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. Why can't I just be normal?
Mm.
And then
So, yes.
and then you have that call where somebody calls you and they ask you for advice and you're like, do I really want to answer that right now? Do I want to
Mm-hmm.
respond? I don't have that answer. Why are you asking me? I don't know, and you got to be who you're called to be.
Yes.
Yeah, that I get that. I
So,
totally get that.
yeah, I'm glad that you said that because was, I guess you could say praying, but I was really just having a real life talk with God the other day. And if at first it started out with, why me? Why this calling for me?
Yeah.
And when I didn't get a response, I was just like, you know what? I accept. Why not me?
Why not you, right?
Why you gave it to me for a reason? I can clearly handle it. So why not me? So sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
do, sometimes why this role? Why why do I attract these type of people in my life? Why
Yeah.
does my phone ring when I don't want it to ring? But
Yes.
if it's not me, who else is it going to be? And
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for causing someone additional pain because I didn't answer the phone, or I didn't reach out, or I didn't send them a message when I felt led to, than
Yeah.
to be inconvenienced, because that's all that really is. So I really talked to God the other day and was like, at first I really was questioning, like, why me? I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
this, and that for my life. But after I said that and I heard myself say it out loud, why not me? And then I accept the call. And once I accepted it, it was like a few days ago when I said I accept the call. Things have been happening to me that I can't really explain in words, but I don't feel the same. I do
Yeah.
feel different. So I do totally understand where you're coming from. And it is a painful journey. But I say keep going, because why not, Rashida?
Mm.
And who's to say what Rashida can't and can't do? Who knows who you'll be able to reach, or whose life you'll be able to change, or who will. You just never know who won't commit suicide because Rashida decided to exist.
Mm.
Yeah, that was deep.
So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
you're
so much.
welcome. Thank you.
No, thank you, Rashida. That was wow. That was incredible. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have next Deanna, and then I'm assuming Shannon. because the power coming off her little square, it's powerful. Go ahead, Deanna.
Hey, boss lady.
Hi, Deanna. Waving hi.
I just wanted to, again, for the umpteenth time, tell you thank you for your transparency.
Thank you for telling me.
I am on my journey now, like officially.
Yes, you are.
And I realize that you can't fake it. Like you can't present your representative when you're on your journey. You can't, as Grace said, and I was having a conversation this morning and I realized that I do have everything I need and everything flows through me. And in order for me to truly decide to be comfortable with me, I have to release control of me. And so through this process and what got me to where I am is not only pouring into myself like the doctor professor told me to, but also your transparency. Your transparency helped me be transparent with myself because you showed your wounds, because you showed you were not perfect, because you showed this is who I am. This is who I am. This is me. This is Tempestt. Because you were transparent, it allowed me to actually look at me. It allowed me to see past my own representative. Because I presented my representative for so long that I became my representative. I became the perfectionist. I became the control freak. I became that person. Like Rashida said, first of all, you stay, you're you present that person for so long, you just become that person. And it was painful letting that person go, because in letting that person go, I kind of got to show me, so I thank you for your transparency, because it let me know, okay, Deanna, it's okay to be who you were supposed to be. It's okay to be the person that you're meant to be. It's okay for you to actually step into your purpose. It's okay for you to love yourself. It's okay for you to accept your scars. It's okay for you to let go of your guard. It's okay for you to drop the walls. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Truly, completely, thank you.
No, thank you. Somehow I needed to hear everything you said. So thank you for opening up and making me cry. Thank you.
Well, the one who is next needs no introduction. She is one of your best friends.
Don't do
Nick Clark.
Hi, sister friend.
Hi.
Of course, I'm very proud of you. Of course, you give great hugs that give life to dead people walking on earth.
Oh, Lord.
I just want to thank you so much for being you. Not a lot of people can help Shannon. Not a lot of people can reach me. Not a lot of people can penetrate my walls. And you have been one that has been able to do that. And even where I am now in my heightened level of awareness, I am today attacking my monster, trying to heal my monster, still learning and embracing who I've always known I was, but who everybody around me never wanted to allow me to be.
God.
Me being great was such a detriment to others, was such a oh, she not this, she not that, she not this to others, because you could see it, but because you saw it, you had to kill it, you had to keep it down, you had to damage it, you had to slander it. And so now that has created a monster of a person that wants to protect the greatness. So I'm so careful and so just guarded around people. And you are probably one of the very few people that I trust with Shannon, with the Shannon that I know that I am, with the greatness that I know that I have in me. And so I thank you for the outpouring that you give. I know that it's hard and I know that it hurts. And what I've learned from you is that the only way that I get to be great and the only way that I get to not kill people and keep people from killing themselves is to be authentically me. Tim, I'll be honest with you, that is completely terrifying to me. Because I don't want to hurt anymore, I don't want to feel any more pain. I don't want to be attacked. I don't want to be squashed just for simply being who I know that I am. And so it's scary to get to know me. I get irritated by getting to know me. I get frustrated by getting to know me. And it seems like every time I want to stop, every time I want to give up, here you come with something. Don't forgive me. My baby, he hurt me. He's emotional, so he's giving me a hug. I just want to, I really do. I want to thank you because it's hard. But I wrote down the only way that you get to help people through their discomfort is to be comfortable with who you are. If I'm not comfortable with who I am, then I can't help anybody through their discomfort. And that's where I'm gifted. That's the people that are around me, the people that have attached themselves to me and just will not let go.
Yeah, we ain't let go. We
had a conversation earlier, but they do that because it's just, I have a pull that comes with me, and it's not being arrogant. It's not being puffed up. It's just recognizing where I'm gifted. I'm gifted in connectedness. I know how to keep people connected. I know how to do things. And so I just want to thank you for giving me the push that I needed, the motivation. I'm sorry, y'all. The motivation
Who calling us? Who
the motivation that I need to do what I needed to do, to keep moving forward and to just grow, continue to grow into the Shannon that I know that I can be, that the world needs. And I do that daily by watching you and reaching out to you, and I just want to thank you for everything, and especially for tonight.
Wow. Tempestt?
I don't know what to say to that.
Well, then maybe.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe we should bust Owner Brown right here. Yeah, let me bust Owner Brown. I'm gonna unmute everybody. Let's see real quick, and then I'll mute you back. All right, let's see. We bust Owner Brown. If you can hear me, if you unmute it, repeat after me. Tempestt. Yeah, not repeat.
Tempestt.
There we go. We love you.
Love you.
Love you.
You are a crowning achievement.
You are a crowning
achievement.
You are greatness.
You are greatness.
You are powerful.
You are powerful.
You are amazing.
You are amazing.
And we love you.
We love you.
Now, let's see, where's she at? Unmute, just, I got you unmuted. Now, Tempestt, say you receive it. Is she crying?
Yeah, because okay, first of all, you can't just do stuff like that.
Well, Shannon did that.
But two, as what Shannon just said too much, but she has no idea how long I watched her and looked up to her and admired her and wanted to be like her. So to hear her say that about me, it's just like crazy. I remember the first time I heard Shannon speak, like I remember her entire message because that's just how much of an impact she made on me. I remember her talking about drop your stone, and that has always stayed with me. And so I admire her, and from a distance, like she became like the sister I never had. So I think that's why, like everybody, our whole group is a family, and everybody's my sister, everybody's my brother. But I felt a connection with Shannon that I didn't understand, and I don't quite know why, but it's, I don't know. To hear her say that when I feel the same about her, that's just, it's crazy. So thanks, thank you, because yeah, thank you,
This is
thank
a
you.
phone call. Anybody else? I'm looking at the raising of the hands, or if you're leaning real close to the computer screen, I'm kind of looking at you. I want to first off thank Scott. Scott Fortune is going to be a millionaire very soon. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. He's in his Army uniform, and he jumped on this call at the last minute. I actually told him at the last minute, and Master Sergeant Scott Fortune is on the call. If you don't know what that means one more rank, he'll be at the tippity top of all ranks. But they call him top right now because he is at the very top. He is not just a person. He is a leader's leader. And he's on this phone call. Sir, we salute you in your military service and your active duty. Yes, we can clap. We got somebody clapping in front of me, yes. And just
Thank
for,
you.
yes. And for no reason at all, if you want to say anything, just because you wear the uniform, sir, please, by all means, I will unmute you now. Even if you just say hi, we would love to hear from you. I got you unmuted.
Hey, first of all, Antonio, thanks for inviting me on this webinar. Tempestt, powerful, literally speechless, and it is okay to be transparent. It's okay to be an open book sometime, because that helps other people open up as well. And you lead by example, and other people can get right as a result of this right here. So it's okay. We can let our guard down a bit. Something I shared with a group in Ohio on Sunday. And by the way, we feel that energy here in Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore. Got the wife, and we're heading back to North Carolina now. So we're on the road. But thank you so much. And Antonio, thank you for those kind words.
Yes, sir.
You know, this is what it's all about. What, the 11 or 12 that's on here, it's really all about showing up, because most people don't show up in life. And as you know, if you show up, you get what you're going to get 80% of the time, but you got to come with the mentality also, right?
Yeah.
And you guys know what the deal is. You show up with a plan, you get the opportunities 85% of the time. You show up one time with the plan, implement the plan, you know the deal, you get it 90% of the time. You guys know the deal. I'm not even going to go any further, but just, this is all about showing up and being transparent. And I'm glad I showed up on this tonight. Thanks, Antonio.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for you and your service. If you all can't
Thank
read
you,
his
Scott.
uniform, my man Scott Fortune, Master Sergeant Scott Fortune, has air assault and my connection's unstable, and airborne. He can jump. Yes. You clap all day for military. He can jump out of just about any air vehicle there is, and jump shooting, and then hit the ground shooting. He protects our country. We appreciate you, sir, very, very much. They don't just give out aerosols and airborne. Okay, they don't. He's been to Fort Bragg and a few other places, that's for sure. Anybody else want to comment? This is a powerful phone call, super powerful. There have been gallons of tears that have been spread down from us. Anyone else? Who haven't I heard from? Okay, let's see. Anyone? Even if you repeat, if you feel the spirit move you go ahead and say something. Okay, going once, twice. Okay, so I'll wrap up Tempest. I'm going to say this, and then you close this out, and you all just have a great time. This will be on the podcast immediately after this airing, and so we have your emails. We will send this to you. You would definitely get that as well. It was powerful. Let me first and foremost tell you that it is not hard. It's not easy to speak. It's not easy to speak well, and it's not easy to speak well and be transparent while you are doing it. Tempest is the epitome of transparency, even though she fights to be transparent by her own admission. So we want to thank you, Tempest, for the wonderful job you have done. Yes. International public speaker and trainer and coach, Tempest. Yes. Thank you very much. All of you, even if you just joined us, this will be replay. And this video will also be on Tempest's page momentarily. But what I do want to tell you is, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, don't just hear this message and not let it get inside. This was powerful. And the Q&A this was the best Let's Talk Tuesday of all. And this was the best phone call we've done all year, including the Plant Better Mindset phone call. Matter of fact, this was best at any church service that we are a part of too. This was real ministry. This was real human beings being together as one. This was Tempestt S. Smith. You have the floor.
So first, thank you all for your kind words, your support, your love, your everything. Thank you for the tears. Thank you for your energy. Thanks for your presence. This was scary for me. When this topic kept popping up, I wanted to run because I didn't want to talk about this because I was afraid of me. And I was afraid to, give me to other people this way. But you all have helped me tremendously. So thank you so much for everything. And I leave you all with a quote I found from President Barack Obama. He says, "Our first job in life is to get to know ourselves." I came into this situation, this presidency, with a pretty clear sense of who I was. So when I hear the smack talking, it is easier to brush that off because I know who I am. That hit me because when you know who you are, that's when it seems like people come out and just say all kind of crazy things about you. But if you know who you are, and because I'm raised the way I was raised, and you know whose you are, their words don't matter because you know that what someone says about you doesn't define you. And again, thank you all for being here. I see you all next week.
Okay, well, that's it. We'll unmute all the lines. Please say hi and stuff.
Thank you. Love you, boss lady.
Love you too. Thank y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Rashida. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Vince.
Vince.